With over 100 mountable pals in Palworld and a very limited amount of technology points, which pals are worth you spending your technology points to get the saddles and journey around the entire world? Today, I'm going to be comparing and contrasting the stats, letting you know all the advantages and disadvantages, and an honestly solid progression for you to ride your mounts throughout your entire experience in Palworld. Let's get into it on Austin John Gaming. I noticed a lot of people were watching my old video on this, and there's been a lot of additions and changes to pals, so this is going to be a completely revised version for 1.0. I extracted the stats and information of every single pal in the game. I wrote this entire Google sheet based on all of their advantages and disadvantages, and ones that are exceptionally good that you should be using throughout your playthrough. After watching the full video, if there's anything I missed because you really just like the pal or a specific build that you think is great, leave it down below. I'm going to be going in technology unlock level, which is located right here, and we are going to be taking that number into consideration a lot. Here I have every pal's stamina speed, their run speed, and their ride sprint speed. Here I have their classifications on ground, water, and flying. Here I have a mathematical equation for their overall speed, which is taking into consideration their ride sprint speed over stamina in conjunction with ride speed. And then here is tech bonus. Tech bonus is a really neat category that lets us see really great pals very early, and then the ones that in the later game aren't holding their own. Let's get out of the way. Rush ore at the beginning of the game, 3 hits and you could destroy ore, and then you could dense it up more, you could destroy ore faster, and you could destroy better ores as well. Cool. Technology level 9 Dire Howl is one of the best mounts that you're going to have on the ground. I think it's one of 3 mounts you're ever going to be on the ground with throughout your entire time playing the game. Level 9, if you happen to get one with Runner, you are golden until like your 2nd or 3rd flying pal. I'm not even joking. Its partner skill says that it moves slightly faster than most mounts, so you can catch a lot of Dire Howls in the starting islands, condense them all up, and have an extremely fast Dire Howl. Dire Howl's biggest disadvantage is its gravity scale. Wider, there you go. That's all my notes on my cheat sheet right there. So gravity scale, a lot of pals are negatively affected by a gravity scale. And what that means is every time that they jump, gravity affects them twice as hard. Dire Howl is one of those pals. Rush ore, gravity affects it 3 times as hard. That's the reason if you ever tried to jump on that thing, it barely leaves the ground. It's a lot like me. Chillet's ground speed is horrible, but its water speed is one of the best in the game. The only thing is, because it is not a water pal, it is ice and dragon, its stamina is reduced the entire time. So it can go across the water very fast, and it can sprint very fast, but it doesn't have a lot of stamina. As long as it's not a far distance across the water, you should be good. This is very nice in an early game combination with a paraglider grappling hook move to propel you. Nightwing is your first flying pal that you get access to. It has baseline stamina of 100, it has one of the worst ride speeds at 600, and it has an atrocious sprint speed of 750, but it can fly. And for some people at level 15, that's enough. At level 16, you get your first surfing pal, and your first surfing pal can actually make it so you can salvage items on the water, and you can go to every single island no problem. Yes, Nightwing can do it, but if you look right here, Surfant on the water is twice as fast than Nightwing flying above the water. And Surfant being a water pal, you can sprint in the water indefinitely. So your entire time in the water, you're looking at this speed, which is the reason it immediately outclasses Chillet. Then we have Tyrantrum, who isn't exceptionally good at anything, but it can double jump when mounted, and it can shoot a spider web to grapple and move at high speeds. It is a fun pal to ride around on. It's not as fast as your Dire Howl, but it has a lot more verticality. So if you're exploring an area with verticality, maybe give Tyrantrum a try. Elphadran is one of the first pals that you experience that it is a grounded pal that is then able to fly, and typically their walking / running speed is atrocious. It's a lot of bipedal dragons in this category, but then it flies faster than it runs, and it can sprint even faster than that. So I could definitely see some argument for this adorable, hysterical looking dragon being one of your favorite mounts, especially with some investment. That way it could actually survive in the air longer. Level 21 is Van Worm, and it is better than Nightwing in every single way. Nightwing is 100 stamina, Van Worm is 1.5 that. Run speed is 600, Van Worm is slightly better, sprint speed is 750, 850. As soon as you hit level 21, get rid of your Nightwing and get a Van Worm, no questions asked. Skipping ahead past things that are not better than our current pals that we're using, you get to Hellzifer. Hellzifer, again, outshines Van Worm in every single way. So once you're level 25, getting yourself a Hellzifer, you have significantly better sprint speed from 850 to 1100, the same run speed of 700, but more stamina once again from 150 to 170. No reason to not upgrade unless you have a great Van Worm, but probably you don't at level 25 because that's when you first start getting into breeding. And Pola Pump says that movement speed is increased by 80 to 160% depending on condensed level, while mounted on snow only, and can slide down slopes quickly. That's not a very applicable thing. So this speed is what you're going to be looking at almost all the time. Yes, it can go down snow fast. Cool. So can you. Just power slide with crouch. Fanglope can double jump, but it's not better than Dire Howl once it's condensed once. Unless you need that verticality, but then again, you have Hellzifer. One of the pals that I did not know that I was going to love as much as I do in 1.0 is Daisy Moo. The emu that you find in the desert is so fun to run around on. Daisy Moo has very basic stamina of 100, run speed of 900, 1200 sprint speed. Okay, that's a pretty good sprint speed, but what is so special about it? This. Its movement speed is increased by starting at 50, maxing out at 100% while mounted on sand. Playing ultra wide right now, which I need for sheets, so sorry about the left and right side being cropped off. This Daisy Moo has nimble, swift, runner, and fit as a fiddle. This is the one that I've been using for my entire time playing. It doesn't work good with the Depresso head. Once we go to sand, this thing is flying. I'm gonna hit just the auto run button. I'm not even sprinting right now. We're going through this desert quickly. Once we start sprinting, look at this thing go. And while most pals we've spoken to up until now have a positive gravity affecting value of like ×2 or ×3, Daisy Moo is only 0.85, meaning that it does this very high jump, it does this flutter in midair, and sort of has that flutteriness to it. That's the reason I love Daisy Moo. Like, look at this thing go, and you can dismount it and glide from the air. That wasn't a very clean one. Also, I don't have my power glider right now, so it is what it is. But this thing hauls butt. This is only condensed one time, so it only has, I think, a 62% bonus while on sand, not the full 100%. It does get faster, and this is without the World Tree passive for speed. I know what you're thinking. You're gonna be like, okay, but how often are you on sand? All of the time. The thing you probably don't realize is that paths, like trails that you see all on the map, those are sand. Once we get to a trail, this is sand. And as long as you're on this trail, you are flying through this area. It's honestly, you're going so fast that it becomes hard to stay on the trail, and I almost feel like I'm doing pod racing in Star Wars. Okay, enough of that boring gameplay. Let's get back to that hot Google Sheets action. Right after Daisy Moo, if you want to upgrade your flyer, there is a very small increase in Beacon. First of all, Beacon's a great base pal. I think it has electricity level 4, which is much higher than you currently have at your base. Gathering 2 and transporting 5. So when it's not making electricity, it's transporting stuff. You should disable its gathering because it's only level 2. Beacon's partner skill makes it so that its movement speed is increased by 5 to 25% for each other electric pal in your party, excluding Beacon. So an uncondensed beacon with one other electric pal in your party, and you're seeing an honestly pretty big difference over Helzifer. You still have that little bit less stamina, but now you're moving faster and you're sprinting faster. Okay, next notable pal, and the last ride pal you need on the water happens at level 31, and that's Gangler. Gangler and its fire variant Gangler Ignis, who's much later at level 42, I give it a score of 1632, and its Ignis form, which then punches above its number until the legendary water pal. Only the legendary water pal is going to be faster. Less than half of that level, you get the second fastest water pal in the game. Now, it's a lot easier, in my opinion, to fish up a Gangler Ignis for 42, but this makes, like, especially right here when you're doing all of your Corallium stuff, Gangler Ignis, who you want for the party. Honorable mention here is Elphadran Aqua. Elphadran Aqua also falls into the category of bipedal pals who can fly, but this one can also swim. It's the only one who can do it. This one I invested kind of a little bit in. It has Swift, Runner, Eternal Engine for stamina, and Dimensional Leap for movement speed. And this thing can move. Like, this is some really impressive swimming speed that you're not going to see many other places outside of Gangler and some legendary pals in the game. Flying speed, also not the fastest, but reputable. Keep in mind, we have, you know, some world tree passives on this to hit this level of flying speed. But before you're ready for like your end game flying pals, if you just want someone who's a little bit jack of all trades, Elphadran might actually be a really good choice for you. That is, you know, if you're okay listening to that flapping sound over and over again. It gets outclassed by Helzifer and Beacon and pretty much everyone else. Plus, you're about to get one of my favorite flying pals in the game, which is Ragnahawk. Ragnahawk, 150 stamina, which is now pretty much our baseline ever since we got Helzifer. Run speed, not the best, only 800, but sprint speed is 1300. Compare that to our current benchmark of Beacon, which is 160, 75, 1200. Ragnahawk is 150, slightly less stamina, 800, slightly better run speed, 1300, slightly better sprint speed. I typically get myself a Ragnahawk from eggs on the left side of the volcano, and then I breed it up with Sprinter so that it can actually run fast, and then it replaces my Dire Howl. Because yes, I'm still running a Dire Howl at this point because I didn't know about Daisy Moo, and now I love Daisy Moo. So Daisy Moo is still on the team. Ragnahawk is now my flyer. If you're still using Beacon, then you're fine. If you're still using Elphadran, you're fine. But if you're using Helzifer, you need to upgrade immediately. Honestly, for me, these levels typically go by so fast that I get Daisy Moo and then I'm exploring the desert and then my levels just skyrocket, and next thing I know, I'm level 33 and I could get Ragnahawk. Next, I have to mention a Palumba. Palumba, who is the dumb, weird looking bird tree salsa dancer. For some reason, its movement speed is increased by starting at 155% while mounted on grass. This is kind of the opposite of Daisy Moo, who every time that you're on a trail, you're gonna be moving fast. This is every time that you're on grass, you're moving fast and you're avoiding trails. It can't fly. It's affected by gravity normally. It exists. You're gonna see a fun TikTok of someone riding a Palumba fast on grass, I guarantee it. Especially once they're sprinting. Like, look at this guy go. Look at them wigs flapping. He's actually moving. The only problem is, once they're done flying, next thing you know, you're now going to be stuck on the ground. And now this pal is walking, like, look how slow he is swimming. If you fell out of stamina in the air, you would be stuck moving at this speed until you got to shore. And your stamina would eventually go down because you completely ran out, and now your pal is taking damage because they're not a water type. Honestly, this whole category really isn't my favorite, but if it is for you, then cool. Starting here, like, I have a very high bar that you need to hit, because now you need to beat Ragnahawk and Daisy Moo and Gangler And that's not going to really happen until we get to Yormintide, who's one of the fastest swimmers in the game, but I just honestly prefer Gangler's dramatically smaller frame and model in-game than Yormintide. You're also seeing here that we have a lot of negative tech bonuses here. Like, we're starting to get to the point that, yeah, you should be doing better than this and you're not. Xenoguard is also here, but that's if you're going to be getting a Xenoguard from your meteor drop event, or more likely from that one baddie outpost in the Cold Mountain. And then again, Gangler Ignis, look how green that is. Look how green it is. Because even though it's the same stats that it was for the non-Ignis version 10 levels ago, it's still punching way above its weight class. Second fastest swimmer in the game, 10 out of 10 recommend. Small frame, easy to do all of your water-based things, and it's a lanternfish with a little flame at the front of its face, and it has, I think, level 5 water and level 5 kindling, and it can do a little bit of transporting. It's an amazing base pal. You could fish it up as soon as you get access to fishing at level 15. I made a whole video on that. Can't say enough good things about Gangler Ignis. And I forgot something that makes Gangler and Gangler Ignis even better. Gangler Ignis, its movement speed is increased by 5 to 25% for each other fire or water pal in your party. So if you have Gangler Ignis and Ragnarok, Gangler Ignis is just automatically 5% faster before you consolidate it. Condense it, whatever. It's great. Okay, next up, we have Suzaku and Suzaku Aqua, who are right after each other. 350 is an extremely respectable stamina. It's one of the best flying staminas in the game, but the speed for that flying is not exceptional. It doesn't go as fast as Gangler Ignis or Ragnarok or Yormintide or Daisy Moo, but it can fly for a long period of time. Is it really that important? I don't think so. Wyvern Botan is going to also be here with the exact same stats that regular Wyvern had, but again, it's one of those very slow walking bipedal pals that can then fly fast, so double-edged sword. I like flyers who can run fast. Then we get to Shadowbeak. Shadowbeak has an extremely high sprint speed while flying, and you'll see how green that number is. That's a big green number, and its tech bonus, it's punching above its current tech level. You can get Shadowbeak at the Sanctuary to the northeast. It's not very common there, but it is there, and it can make for a really good ride pal. The only question is it worth you investing over what you've currently invested in? Next up, Saline, who, again, I think it's another meteor event in Sakurajima and some other high-level areas at level 53. Crazy high stamina, crazy high flying speed, very good running speed, probably one of the best flying pals that you can have in the game. Next, there's not too much to talk about. Azurmane is here at level 58, and Azurmane's ability makes it so that it has an air dash, and it can move at very high speeds while air dashing. And if you're constantly pressing F for the partner skill, yes, you are going to be moving fast. But now we're getting into endgame territory, and we have some great pals coming up. Like, at the level that you can have Azurmane, you can easily catch Necromus, who Necromus moves so fast, inherently has a double jump, better than Palladis, who has a triple jump because it's like 1.5 times faster. Slightly less stamina, so it's one of those ideas of, like, you know, the righteous one can go longer, but the dark one can go faster. So, you know, you have that balance there. By my math, the shorter, faster is much better than the longer, slower. But then immediately after, you have Frost Stallion, who's almost the exact same numbers, but then anytime that it wants to, it can fly. So why would you invest in Necromus if you can invest in Frost Stallion? In the end game, ground pals have very little use. Plus, these numbers are still beat by a condensed Daisy Moo on the ground. So, you know, it's getting hard to justify upgrading from what you currently have. Level 64, we come to the legendary water pal Neptilius. who is one of the fastest swimmers in the game, but I like Gangler. Leave me alone. Okay, I'm done. Xenolord. Xenolord is the fastest pal in the air who is reasonably sized. It has a 1700 speed, which beats Jetragon. It has 2700 sprint, which does not beat Jetragon, but you only get it after completing its raid event, which I don't know if you're going to be doing easily at level 66. Also, this guy falls into the category of bipedal pals who are going to walk around very slowly, and then once they're flying, they can fly fast, but after you're done flying fast, you're stuck on the ground moving slow. So if you have good stamina investment in these pals, I could see a big advantage and argument for them. Probably by the time you're doing Xenolord, you absolutely can. Okay, after Xenolord, we get to, hands down, my favorite new pal in 1.0, and that's Eidrolon. It has two forms, its base form and its Ignis form. Its base form, you get the tech unlock at 68. And Eidrolon is one of the best pals in the game that still has an open breed pool. Unlike a lot of them that are locked to specifically just one species, like Jetragon, you can only breed Jetragon with Jetragon to get Jetragon. But Eidrolon, you could breed a lot of things to get an Eidrolon. And you may be getting Eidrolons from mutated eggs if you're breeding high-level pals. So, kind of a really good option. Plus, listen, I am a grown man and I do not throw this word around freely. But the drip on this guy, the aura farming, like, look at all the fun little particle effects that we're dropping as we're flying through the air as gracefully as we are. Like, big fan of this guy. His static pose is just standing there so, like, proud and confident, like he's peacocking. Big fan of this guy. Its Ignis form does red sparkles instead of white sparkles, but honestly, I think the irony of having a dark type pal with white sparkles is kind of great. This one also has extremely high investment in everything. What is this? This is like my main ride pal. Eternal Engine, Legend, Swift, Dimensional Leap. This guy goes fast, goes far, awakened, perfect 100. I bred for this. Like, this one took time. But even its base form, without any movement speed invested, still hits pretty respectable speeds. This guy is level 68, and then Jetragon is level 79. Like, that's 11 levels difference for only slightly faster. Eidrolon is the first pal that you can be investing very heavily in, who is your endgame pal. Also Gangler Ignis, but that's preference. And every time that you sprint, he does his cry sound, and it reminds me of, I think, like a background sound or an enemy sound from Banjo-Kazooie, and it brings me comfort. Like, listen. Like maybe like a frog from that game? Maybe something at the Bubble Goop Swamp? Something like that? I don't know. It brings me joy. It's really hard to beat Eidrolon, dude. He can run fast, he can fly fast. He doesn't have the best stamina, so he does need investment. Xenolord, honestly, really good counterpart to that. Not a great running speed on the ground, but a great flying speed in the air. This number here, this 1700, that's its non-sprinting flying speed. I don't have its ground speed here. And then the only other pals to talk about after that are going to be the end of the game pals. Level 76, which is once again just Eidrolon, except now he's spicy. Xiaolong, who's one of the new tower bosses and is only found in the world tree, although very commonly. Jetragon, needs no introduction, and Panthalus. Panthalus, who's kind of directly tied to the story and how you get into the world tree. This guy, hang on, I have to leave my base first because his model is so large. If I bring him out now, I just get pushed really far away and then I can't see my character. Okay, I'm in a large, safe, open place. I can now take the pal out. It's enormous. It's up there. Let's ride it. You fly into the air. Am I stuck in a thing? I'm not stuck in a thing. Great. Always is flying. Always has infinite stamina. You can't breed it. It's an undiscovered breeding combination. It's only one of 2 pals, but it is the only obtainable pal that cannot breed. So once you go ahead and you fly up into the air, like, again, infinite stamina, really nice, but like, this thing is clunky. You are driving a cargo container ship as your pal. I'm on top of it. Do you see me on top of it? Editing Austin, can we zoom in on how many pixels I'm currently taking up on screen? Because it's not a lot. You're also going to have difficulty if you're playing online. Like right now, I'm running into server connection issues because of our movement speed, rendering it on screen. People are having complaints about this taking up too much power on servers if it's kept at a base. It's also flying above the base like majestically in the night sky. Infinite stamina, infinite flight, very cool. Size of the PAL, not as much. The nice part is when you dismount, you're just standing on top of it, although the PAL then begins to descend at a faster rate than you ever could. I have seen videos of people giving it like world tree passives, that way it moves even faster. If you could breed a non-alpha version of it, I could see some argument on it being really great for flying around on, but considering you can't, I'm hard pressed at saying I don't think I'm ever going to ride it. I should also take a moment to talk about Xiaolong. Xiaolong, who I think is level 77, it handles sort of like a drifting car. Like, you see how its body is just like sticking out of the side? It doesn't have great stamina, but it can fly. It's a water type PAL, so it can swim, and it looks a lot like the dragon from Shang-Chi, which I assume both of them are based on the same sort of mythological Chinese dragon, which would make sense. I don't think I'm gonna switch. And then the only other thing to talk about, honestly, is Jetragon. And I think it's because I played early access for years that I'm just over him. Like, yes, he is the fastest. Yes, he does have fantastic stamina. He's only outclassed in one way by Xenolord, and he has a little bit of purple going on, and yes, he's cool. But like, I don't know, I've driven Jetragon for so many years. There's also a very big piece of information that I omitted from this, is that Jetragon, you don't get Jetragon's saddle, you get Jetragon's missile launcher, which means that when you are mounted on Jetragon, you don't get to actually use your weapons. You can't fish from it, you can't use your guns, bows and arrows, you can't mine from it or anything. You can only just shoot missiles that lock on whatever they want to lock on to. I think that's another reason I like Eidrolon more, is because it's still a regular saddle mount and you still have access to all of your inventory of weapons and tools to use while on Dragonback. I think that's a big win. So who's the best of the best? Obviously, the legendary water pal, the spirit of the seas, is the fastest swimmer, Neptilius. It is a very large model, though. So if you breed it down to something small and reasonably sized, I could see an argument for that being the best. Second is Gangler and Gangler Ignis. I like the Ignis form because he's very useful at base. And their partner skill, if you have one additional dark or water pal or one additional fire or water pal, your sprint speed is 1688 compared to 2000, almost on par with the legendary pal. That's the reason it's my favorite. Third is honestly going to be one of the first pals in the game, Chillet. Level 11, one of the fastest pals on water. If you give it some enhancements for stamina, it can carry you to the mid and end game, except you can't actually salvage on it because it's not a water pal. And fourth place, honorable mention, is a four-way tie between Samara Lux, its electric variant, Yormintide, who again, very large model, and Alphadran Aqua, and honestly, I think you look ridiculous riding all of these. If you like looking ridiculous, go for it. Who are the best ground mounts? Number one is Daisy Moon. Daisy I'm bringing up here by myself because its movement speed is 50 to 100% of our current number, which if we take 1020 and multiply it by 2, it is the fastest pal on sand. And sand is all over the game, as you know, because of the trails. At level 28, you can invest in something that's going to be having, this number is doubled. This number is doubled. The only thing that's not doubled is stamina. And our speed score now is 2040 at a fully condensed Daisy move. If you're not condensing it at all and you just caught one, it is the third highest score in the game, being half to a third of the tech requirement. Daisy Moo hard comes in first, followed second by kind of a three-way tie with Necromis, Hartalis, and Palladus. Necromis obviously taking the lead between the three, but any of them right around the same is going to be fine. Third is going to be a big old tie between all of these pals right here. Starion and Primo, Aedragon, Azurmane, who because of the air dash, Celestier and Noct, but Celestier Noct does have a great partner skill that is going to make your battle teams even better. Gildane and Xenogard, all of them kind of fit around the same number, but considering all of these levels, Xenogard's at 41. It's probably the best ride pal out of all of these, coming in this, third spot. And then coming in fourth, honorable mention, just because tech level is only level 9, is Dire Howl. And finally is the flying pals. I cannot in good conscience recommend Panthalus just because your time playing the game is probably going to be worse if you do a Panthalus with like crazy enhancements. Like your game isn't going to be able to keep up very well. It's not going to be a good time. Its model is far too large, despite the fact that it has infinite stamina. So first place is going to actually be a four-way tie between Xenolord, if you like the bipedal who then flies, Jet Dragon, Eidrolon, and Eidrolon Ignis. If you haven't built a Jet Dragon build, go ahead and build it. Xenolord, kind of fun. Eidrolon and Eidrolon Ignis is like the new Jet Dragon. Has better drip, better stamina, love it. Also, Xiaolong. I'm also putting Xiaolong in this top category of just really over-the-top fun pals to ride on. Perfectly good for all endgame things. You can invest in this and not feel bad about it. Of course, when looking at all of these levels on here, you would be hard-pressed to not pick Xenolord or Eidrolon. Coming in second is going to be Frostallion, Frostallion Noct, Shadowbeak, and Saline. Now, obviously, looking at all of the levels actually required to do these, and considering at 68 you're going to be investing in one here, Shadowbeak looks the most promising, and shortly after is Saline. Frostallion Noct, you're going to be breeding a bunch of those for an expedition army anyways, so any of them, you can't go wrong. Coming in third is honestly going to be a lot of pals. Suzaku and Aqua, not Rouge, because it's at the end of the game. Quivern and Quivern Botan, who, if you're okay with the bipedal flying thing, then that. And then honorable mention goes to Ragnarok, just because at level 33, you do get a really good flying pal, everything considered. I also just want to point out how very low on the list Dynamoth is, but he has won the heart of people, especially that video clip that went around about the Panthalus fight, so shout out to him. Well, great. Guys, are there any pals that you absolutely love as your trusty mount in Palworld? Leave it down below. Thank you so much for being here. Until next time, Austin John Gaming out.